Welcome back to Winner Stays On. Today we have another tier list for you. We are going to be ranking NBA teams based on how we believe they will do next year. So kind of a prediction.
Yeah, I would say more or less the prediction. It's kind of looking in to next year. So yeah, you're right. We will be predicting. There's really the criteria is basically how you did last year and what we might kind of guess on what free agents will go where to kind of influence the decisions a little bit. But it's kind of what next year would do with this year's talent, pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. So we'll hop into it right now. With the Hawks, they had a way above expectation year this past year. I think we both agree that they are not going to reach that point again.
I'm putting them in playoffs.
I think they're just playoffs. I don't think they're a dark horse championship contender. They're not a contender.
I made this statement a while ago. We're Trailblazer fans, and the 2019 Blazer run and this 2021 Hawks run to their respective conference finals was very similar. The Blazers didn't do too hot the following year. Kind of predicting that for the Hawks. I still think they get to the playoffs.
I think they could win a series.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're dark horses to win the title. Next up, the Celtics. I am going to put them in playoffs.
I think they're playoffs too. I think they have a lot of upside though, given the fact that they have a lot of young talent. I mean, Tatum and Brown could lead a team to a deep run, but for now we'll put them in playoffs.
The Brooklyn Nets. That is contender through and through. Most talented team in the league. 3 bona fide stars. Their bench wasn't too great this year, but I do think after a second round exit, they're going to be committed to building a championship squad.
Yeah, I mean, if you see no injuries this year, you very well could have seen Brooklyn winning the championship this
year.
Be a
contender. The Bulls.
I think this is. I don't think this is quite a lottery team. I think this is mediocre.
I think they're going to be mediocre.
They're going to be They could be a play-in team.
They've been a lottery team for a while, but they have through their picks in the lottery, have started slowly becoming a more cohesive team. Zach LaVine has turned into a star. Kobe White's a good young piece. So yeah, I would put them in mediocre. The Clippers. I'm going to put them
no Kawhi next year for at least half the year. You would say. I mean, he's going to be out. It says
I'm going to put him in dark horse though.
They still put him in dark horse
because I think if Kawhi comes back for the playoffs, he's fresh.
I just think of all people, Kawhi sits out when he's hurt, so I don't think he's going to be rushing his way back, and it's still an ACL tear. I know it's partial.
If it breaks right for them, I don't know. I'm putting him in there. I
think we'll leave him in dark horse for now.
The
just
Hornets.
With the possibility.
I'm going to go lottery team.
You think this is a lottery team?
Yes.
What makes you say that? What makes you say they'll be worse than last year?
Because I really just think they overachieved last year. I think they're not going to be able to keep all their fantastic players. What do you think?
I think they're at least mediocre. Could be making a run for the playoffs.
Okay, but is a play-in team playoffs or mediocre?
Mediocre.
I don't think they'll make the play-in game.
I mean, I just don't see how they could get much worse. I mean, they played half the year with LaMelo Ball, half the year with Gordon Hayward, and still were a play-in team.
Fine.
Personally.
That's fine. We'll put them in mediocre, but that's as high as I'll go on them. The Cavs.
I think the Cavs are a lottery team.
I think they're yeah, sure.
I mean, we could see no Kevin Love for them we'll see Kevin Love, but Colin Sexton is rumored to possibly be traded. We're not basing our opinions on that.
They have Darius Garland, but yeah, the Cavs are a long way to go, talent-wise. Just the Nuggets. The Nuggets are next. I'm putting them in the dark horse.
I think they're dark horse too.
With Jamal Murray coming back, he will give them a huge boost. It will be interesting to see if they can retain Will Barton or not. Mm-hmm. That would be a big loss for them. However, with Jokic and Murray, if they're operating on full capacity, full force, they could very easily get to the conference finals with the right paths.
Next is the Rockets. They do have the number 2 overall pick. I still think they will stay lottery despite, John Wall is past what he's used to be.
Yeah, he's not.
Could see Christian Wood take another jump, but not enough to boost them any high.
Next up, the Los Angeles Lakers. They're a contender. They're a contender for the reason they have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and because they are also committed to building a championship squad. They're also linked to some better guards than Dennis Schroeder, that being Russell Westbrook and possibly Chris Paul. The Lakers will be better than they were. They will not be a 7 seed again. Let's just put it that way. Next up, the Bucks. They're going in that top tier too. Contender. They just won the championship. Yeah. What more could you ask for?
Not much to say about them.
Nothing to say much about them. The Heat.
Heat. A lot of people could say they could go back to that dark horse, but I personally don't think they will. Playoffs is a good spot for them.
Not stupidly
and I think next team, Mavericks as well. As long as Luka's on the team, they'll be a playoff team. They're not going to be a championship contender.
Can you cut it there?
Why?
I just want to make sure. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I'm not shooting. Go do the. That's fine. Just keep going.
All right, next is the Pelicans. I think they're still not quite a playoff team, just with the talent in the West. Despite them being young, I don't think they're a lottery team, though. They could lose Lonzo Ball this offseason, but I think they are a mediocre team.
But they're an interesting one because, oh man, they have so much potential, but it's still untapped. We'll put them in mediocre just because a play-in is considered mediocre, so they're going to go mediocre.
A play-in would, I think, be good for them.
The Knicks now. This is an interesting one. Depends on free agency, so I'll put them in playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to have a season like last year. I think they will be a low playoff seed, if not a play-in team.
But they also could land the Stars. That's why I want to hedge my bets here, put them in playoffs. Next up, the Thunder, lottery team.
They're in the rebuild. They're going for their draft picks.
We just, for a fact, know they are a lottery team. Next up, the Magic. They could very well be lottery team.
They could very well, and I think they will.
I'm putting them there because they ain't making the plan.
No more Vooch anymore. They'll bring back Isaac and Fultz, but they just don't have enough talent down there. The Blazers, I think they are a playoff team.
They're a playoff team if Damian Lillard stays there. If he doesn't, they're dropping to mediocre fast.
Possibly lottery.
Yeah, but they will stay in playoffs for now because Damian Lillard can put him easily in that playoff range, and if he's going supernova, possibly the dark horse range, we've seen what he's done before. But yeah, they're a solid playoff team every year, so they're going to go playoffs. The Pacers next up. Now, they were mediocre last year. Do you see improvement?
I think they will go playoffs next year. They added Rick Carlisle as coach. They'll have TJ Warren back for the whole year. Could see some movement with like Miles Turner. They'll have a full year of Karis LeVert. But then again, talent in the NBA is super high right now, so they could end up being a play-in team, which, again, could be a mediocre.
You have the two contenders, and you have 4 playoff teams. So at best, they'd be
right now. They are in mediocre.
Yeah, they're going to be a mediocre team just from the sheer talent in the East. Pistons, lottery.
They get the first overall pick. Not going to take you to a playoff team just like
Kings.
that.
The Kings also are going to be lottery.
I think Kings are lottery. I think their time in the mediocre. They had 1 year where they were the 9th seed. Not happening this year.
They're not. Phoenix, I'm going to put them in dark horse. They're not going to be a contender. They're not going to be one of the top championship favorites. Chris Paul could move on.
He's not getting any
younger.
younger.
They're still going to have to work out some extensions with Ayton and, I believe, Mikal Bridges. Eventually Booker down the line. I just don't know if you can. I think that. I don't want to say this because I liked the Suns team. That could have been their peak.
I don't think they will get back to the finals with Chris Paul on their team.
Yeah,
now, you never know down the line.
But if they keep the same team intact, they are definitely a dark horse to get back there because they showed they were good enough. You could see a finals hangover though. Next up are the Spurs. They're mediocre. They're in a phase right now. They're kind of rebuilding. We'll say retooling. They're not quite going.
You're never going to see the Spurs go full rebuild. I feel
as long as they have Pop and hopefully, probably in the future, Becky Hammon.
Yeah.
Blazer fans are disappointed they did not get. But yeah, the Spurs are retooling. They have some pieces. They're just lacking in talent right now. A lot of young wings. A lot of young wings. So it'll be interesting to see how they do in a few years. The 76ers,
this is one of the most interesting teams of the offseason, I think. I mean,
I'm going to put them in.
I think they're a dark horse. They're not on the contender.
I just don't think they're on that
too many
top
times
3.
up there.
I think the 76ers have the same chance as the Clips. I really do. The 76ers got to prove it to me in the playoffs. I think they're the 3rd best team in the East at this point. Next up with the Raptors. The Raptors
had a down year, but they were in Tampa the entire year.
I'm going to go mediocre.
They're
just in this weird transition year. Kyle Lowry, his days are numbered.
No, I think they are very well not going to miss the play-in next year. They are at least going to be a play-in team.
They'll be in the play-in, but the play-in in this, they're considered mediocre. There's going to be a lot of playoffs and mediocre teams. A lot of teams sitting there, as you can see.
Jazz.
The Jazz. I'm going dark horse.
Dark horse, again, not on the contender. Kind of like the 76ers. Haven't really showed it in the playoffs. Haven't had a deep playoff run.
It'll be interesting to see. I don't think the Jazz will be the 1 seed next year, though.
Don't think so either.
But I think they could get unlucky and lose in the first round. That's why the Jazz are weird. Yeah. But I'm going dark horse based on talent.
Now, this next team is interesting.
This next team is interesting. I know there's huge hype, and there could be dark horse, and they very well could be.
For now, we'll slow down on the hype, and we'll go playoffs. I think that's what we'll do. Well, what do you think?
I'm just looking at the Western Conference teams. So right now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yeah, they have to be at least playoffs, obviously. I will put them in playoffs. I think they are a solid playoff team, but I don't think they're going to be a top 4 seed. that track.
Yeah.
Next up are the Wizards. Now the Wizards, I might have to go to a lottery team.
I could see them moving on from Bradley Beal in the middle of the
Yeah.
year. I mean, you
And
could see-
moving on from Westbrook if he leaves. The Wizards are struggling. Really no defense at all. Lack of talent, other than their 2 stars, obviously. Yeah, I mean, they were, if you want to get technical, well, they were mediocre last year.
Yeah.
The plan. But yeah, I think they dropped. The Grizzlies, I think they're mediocre.
mediocre. Now I think they could go plan again, but I mean,
Now I have a question. If you're the 7-8 seed in the plan, is that considered playoffs?
we're not predicting seeds here.
That's
We're
fine,
just
but I
kinda
think
going on a level.
the Grizzlies and the Bulls are at 2 different points.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
the mediocre range is like.
So
like
we
you
could do a little.
honestly-
We could do a real retooling. Go move
You
the
could-
Grizzlies
well,
up to playoffs if we want to.
But I don't think they're a lock to make the playoffs. That's what I'm saying. But I think like within the mediocre tier, you could rank those.
Yeah,
Like there's
for sure.
It's
definitely
the
a
last
disparity.
team, the Timberwolves are going to get in the lottery.
Yeah, sadly.
Well,
I think they will improve next year. They'll have
But do
full
they
year
get to the
D'Angelo
plan?
Russell. They'll have full year 2 Anthony Edwards. Cat is always going to be good, but other than those 3, I mean, you got a steep drop off to the next part of talent. So we'll keep them in lottery right now with the potential to be a solid team.
yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, if you think about it, if the Timberwolves were at the top of mediocre, you'd have they'd be the 9 seed.
Yeah.
Now, I just don't think at this point they could have a better year than the Grizzlies, but it's not.
And
likely.
still, there's much to change before
Yes,
first
exactly.
tip.
This is
So I mean,
before
this is like
free
way
agency.
too early.
Yeah,
predictions.
But this is right now. This is kind of like it's your way too early predictions for the 2021-2022 season. I like this tier list. I think it's accurate. If you disagree, comment below. Comment why you disagree. We want to hear it. We like it when you disagree with us because it makes us think about our own opinions, and that's good. And hopefully we make you think about yours. So that's our tier list for NBA teams heading into the 2021-2022 season. Socials, you can do the point.
Socials, bottom of the screen, as per
screen.
usual.
As per the
Instagram,
usual.
Twitter, TikTok. Go follow for all updates
Yes, go
and
check it
more
out.
videos on that.
We'll keep you updated on videos. Lots of tier list videos coming out. We enjoy making these. Makes us think. Makes us make some hard choices. Hopefully you guys enjoy it too. So look out for those. And Winter Stays on Pod, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 times a week. And yeah, we'll see you next time.